Donald Trump's former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, has savaged national Republican leaders in a fiery call to rally voters behind embattled U.S. Senate candidate Roy Moore. Several allegations of sexual misconduct have been leveled at Mr. Moore, including accusations he molested 2 teenage girls, but he has denied the claims and continued to run on the Republican ticket for a December 12 Senate election for Alabama. Mr. Bannon, the brains behind right-wing website Breitbart, called GOP leaders in Congress cowards and attacked the party's 2012 presidential nominee, Mitt Romney, as a draft dodger. Despite Mr. Trump throwing his support behind the candidate, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had said Mr. Moore would immediately have an issue with the Ethics Committee if elected, a process that could lead to his ultimate expulsion from the Senate. Another Republican, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, sent a $100 check to Mr. Moore's Democratic opponent, Doug Jones. No man, you're a total embarrassment. If you're going to write a check, write a check. Mr. Romney said this week Mr. Moore would be a stain on the GOP and the nation. They want to destroy Judge Roy Moore. You know why? They want to take your voice away, Mr. Bannon said at the rally at a local farm in a small Alabama town. The days of taking it silently are over. If they can destroy Roy Moore, they can destroy you. Mr. Bannon was most aggressive with Mr. Romney, saying Mr. Moore had more integrity and honor than Romney's entire family. He noted Mr. Moore graduated from the U.S. Military Academy, while Mr. Romney received a draft deferment for his missionary work in France. Outside the event, about 3 dozen protesters, some dressed as handmaidens to symbolize Mr. Moore's accusers, chanted, "We want a senator, not a predator." Many gathered inside Oak Hollow Farms and dismissed the allegations as fake. Some did seem to mind them, even if true. What girl has been kissed at 17 years old? Asked Diane Myrick, 69, of nearby town Bon Secours. Mr. Moore did to address the allegations directly and instead cast himself as a political outsider fighting the establishment in both parties, just like Mr. Trump did 1 year ago. He also reminded Alabama voters of his focus on Christian conservative values. "I know we do not need transgender in our military," Mr. Moore said. Earlier in the day, Mr. Jones, the Democratic opponent, called Mr. Moore an embarrassment who would be a disaster for Alabama in Washington. "I damn sure believe that I have done my part to ensure that men who hurt little girls should go to jail and not the United States Senate," Mr. Jones said during a campaign stop in Birmingham, referring to his own record as a former federal prosecutor. AP